a canvas print and a paper print, both made with the printing technique of Decalcomania. Watch me do that today. Hello print fans! While you see me doing a mini canvas test print, let me explain what I'm doing today. Being a full-blown decalcomaniac by now, and having learned a lot from my own last video, I want to try the canvas with this technique again, and compare it to doing the same on paper. Here I am starting to work in a mess right away, as the lid of the binder can is broken. This is a Bristol paper by Fabriano, which has 200 GSM, and the Bristol paper is very smooth, so it will work fine with the Decalcomania technique. In addition, however, I am strengthening the paper with a binder and also with the gesso as a second layer. The second layer, the gesso, I'm not showing here. I think for a gesso you can say it's a primer for paint, basically. I don't know if you're familiar with the word gesso. That's Italian. So here you see me working on that paper and trying to get a smooth, even layer. And having put too much on it, I'm drying it to make that faster with a hairdryer. This is a transparent sheet of overhead projector foil. It's very much like the Duralard, but you can theoretically print on it. And I like it because I can see what I'm doing while I'm doing it underneath. So I have my prepared paper underneath because I'm working directly on it. And I'm mixing up some of my beloved golden open slow drying paint, which is very good for what I'm doing today because it's slow drying. But you can also use regular acrylic, your favorite acrylic, any cheap acrylic will do. Then you just have to use a retarder so that the wetness stays a little longer. And of course, I put quite some water in it. So this is still very wet. I'm coming in with a roll that I don't know where I have it from, but I guess you know these rolls, they're for the wall initially. And they make a wonderful texture in the wet paint. I'm impatient today, so I'm drying everything with the hairdryer, which actually takes a lot longer with the golden open paint. This I really want to recommend. It's surgical tape by 3M. Well, I don't know if you call it surgical. I think it's medical. It's just a medical tape, and it's perfect for paper, for watercolor, for every real wet paint, because there's just nothing flowing under it. And you can see it's so flexible. I can go around on a regular shape with it. And it's working so wonderfully on paper, but that is on paper. You'll see it work not so good later. And I've put the tape on to protect it from the blue paint I'm using now, also water diluted. This is also golden open, a very opaque light blue, which I normally don't like so much, but I wanted more opaque in this case. And here I'm starting the Decalcomania technique. You just put that transparent sheet on top and push the paint around, so you don't have like real big blobs, because that's not where it's going to show. And then you pick it up. You can go back again if you don't like it. Go back again, have more Decalcomania. And I try to do it in a real irregular way so it looks more natural. And it worked wonderfully. Now, the reason I turned the page on top was that when you do the Decalcomania technique, you start from the top as I did, if you want that to be the top of the image. And in this case, I wanted, here I'm still working on something. In this case, I wanted the clouds to like fall from the sky so that they're tipped over. I think that's a very interesting effect. Now I'm taking that tape off very slowly and carefully. And you can see it doesn't rip anything of the paint off. And yeah, works fine. There's this one spot where I didn't go to the edge with the tape, I think. But also because of these 2 layers, you can work on it for quite a while. I dry it. And then I want to do the second layer of the earth. And I want the first layer to still show underneath the second layer. So I'm taking a very transparent brown, which is one of my favorites anyway. I'm painting over that whole yellow there. And you don't have to work fast, as it really takes some time to dry. So putting down that transparent sheet again. And I'm careful not to push too much up to the sky. Oh, I've taped it off. I didn't film it, sorry, but I've taped the sky off this time. So this is pretty much the same. Lifting up, going back, lifting up again, going back a little, and trying to make it a little irregular and natural looking. And while this is wet, I want to use a technique that I learned from Gerda Lipskis. Thank you, Gerda, for this again. Making flowers with a little piece of a spatula. This is just some plastic wedge or spatula. And you can also take an old credit card or whatever. Oh, my new dog is thirsty. You can't see it real good here, but do press one corner of the spatula in the inside and leave it there, and then turn the outer side around. I hope you know what I mean. I hope you can see this. Well, just try it. It'll work. And taking that tape off again. Carefully. So this is what this technique gave me on the paper. I'm really, really satisfied. A lot to work out. I don't know why I turned it around again. Working on the clouds with the colored pencil. And this is one thing I wanted to test. It is okay for small rims, but sometimes it doesn't have a grip and doesn't work so well. And it's really, you have to push it in quite strongly. So that's what I don't like. And I'm gonna do something about that a little later. You see that? It's not working very well here. That annoys me. So to be a bit more successful in the earth area, I'm using a fine liner. It's a uni ball pin, whatever. It's color sepia, and I like it very much. And I'm just working out these little shapes that I find here. Oops, going back to the clouds, okay. And I'm trying to give them like a shadow, floating shadow, how do you say that? A shadow that is a little wider but more subtle, and it just doesn't work. Fading was the word. A fading shadow. I really like the colored pencils because they can be so subtle and softly, and you can work in different layers, but as you can see, this just doesn't work here. So for now, I'm working out some of those flowers with my fine liner. But that makes a very dark and harsh rim. So I'm not done with this. And you cannot erase them, as you can with pencils over the acrylics. So I dug out my blue fine liner, and it's the same thing. It's nice, it's waterproof, and it's very dark and very edgy, and it's just very dark and harsh, and that was not what I wanted. So I'm going to do something about that later, but now I want to start with the canvas. This is a Clairefontaine canvas board. It's about 9 inches by 12, which is 24 by 30 centimeters. And and this time I'm using a gesso that is white. It's sad, but I have to get rid of the brown canvas. You have to do white under Decalcomania because otherwise you have no contrast, you don't really see it. And another layer of the binder. And this time I'm drawing in a straight horizon line. I want the earth to be like 2/3 of the whole canvas. And I'm squeezing out my last phtalo blue. I have to order new paint. Putting that in a jar, spritzing it with a little water, and mixing it well for a while. Now this color is dark but quite transparent, and we'll see how that works. I taped horizon off, which I didn't film, sorry, so I can push the paint around a lot. And you can already see the canvas structure in the background. And I'm going to do this now, and first I'm thinking, that's nice. And then I'm thinking, don't like it that much. So I am using a little less water with the paint and doing those again, and have the very light clouds in the background. And first I'm thinking, nice. And then I'm thinking, no. Okay, that's a little better. And I have to be quick to dry it, because otherwise it's just going to fade. I'm coming in with the rest of the paint I had on the transparent sheet and trying again and drying again. I am halfway satisfied, and I'm taking off the tape, and as you can see, this is not working so well on canvas. Maybe I should have pressed more, but obviously because of the up and down structure of the canvas, it just floated under it. So lesson learned, I better use masking fluid or so. But I'm thinking, okay, that blue part is going to turn into green now. And yeah, maybe that even adds to the landscape. And while I'm rolling out a transparent yellow iron oxide by Golden Opal, I'm noticing, I have a mixture that I don't need the sheet for. I can do it with the brayer. So I'm trying some large decalco valleys and hills with the brayer. That's nice. And of course, I'm drying this quickly. Before it's completely dry, I'm taking off some of those streaks that have a lot of paint on it. And notice here, this is what was left on my transparent sheet, and it really looks like waves. And I have to keep that in mind, maybe do this the next time, and I'm taking a photo of it to remind myself. But this is these happy accidents that happen, and probably I can't reproduce it. Going on with the landscape and going for some white clouds, I'm moving the sheet around too much, and I'm probably pushing the paint in too hard into the canvas. So I don't get the effect that I wanted. So I'm taking most of this off again. This is the nice thing when you have like a gesso and a binder layer underneath, you can really do a lot with the paint afterwards for a long time. So this just adds to the lighter background. And now I want to try some acrylic ink. They're very highly pigmented and I don't water them down. So this is my first test. And yeah, it's small. And I'm going to try it in a larger scale now. I think that's much better. You don't even have to dilute it unless you want it more transparent. I get you real close here so you can see. This looks very nice. It's a little dark, but the pattern is clearly visible. And I'm going for another large cloud. I haven't taped anything off this time, and I'm going dangerously close to the horizon down there now. Yeah, this one works too. And now I'm using my most opaque paint, the Liquitex white, titanium white. After the blue clouds have dried, of course. And I'm trying to create some white clouds. I tried the white ink too, but that didn't work so well for some reason. So I use the Liquitex now. And again, with the canvas, I'm trying to work on it with my pencils. This is the Caran d'Ache white, which is the best, the Luminance Caran d'Ache. And I'm just giving it a little more contrast there in the upper part of the cloud, so as the light is coming from above. A little interruption here. See how this shines over the white on the Duralar. I might even cut it out as a collage piece. The cloud on the dark cloud on the canvas just might shine the same if I'd left a white background there and not made it a light blue. I guess that is the reason. But it also shows it just works better on the paper and it works best on Duralar or something like that. And anyway, I'm quite happy how this works with canvas. Now I'm actually painting on the white cloud with the acrylic ink. And still, I don't like it that much. I always prefer my pencils. So that's what I'm gonna do next. I think this is a zebra cloud of some sort. Knocking the background a little further back and making it more diffuse. And then I decide to have a very, very light blue, a mix with the acrylic ink, because I think the background is going to feature some mountains, a mountain range. So I'm trying to give those some mountain shapes. So this is how it looks now. I could leave it at that, but I'm not satisfied. So a change is coming. I'm going over both of them with this protecting spray. It is made for watercolor, and I think it's extra good for if you want to draw on it after you've sprayed it. I sprayed just one layer over the canvas and over the paper, and you can see here how much easier it is now to draw on it. So that was a good tip. Thank you, Gerda, again. I'm really marveling at what the paint gave me with the Decalcomania technique. It's just, it's ever so new. It's never the same. It's always so surprising and delicate and so natural as well. They're just very natural forms. And I'll get you a little closer. You can see another amazing piece of this. And you just enhance it a little bit. Just a little more contrast, and then it's so perfect. And this is what I wanted. I wanted to make fading shadows, which I can do now after I've sprayed it. And here you can erase also very easily. It doesn't do anything to the paint underneath. This is a good thing about spraying. And afterwards, I would recommend spraying it again so that the pencils are staying. So now I can go onto the flower again with the light sienna, just to have some pieces a middle brown. And then I'm switching to the walnut brown. Oh no, I'm switching to the fine liner first. But I've switched to the walnut brown before. This is the walnut brown. And that pattern that I did with the roll brayer, the wallpaper brayer, I want to emphasize it a little more so it's still visible. That's also a nice effect, I think. And also something I wouldn't want to do with a fine liner. You can see it makes the paper a little glossy, but not too much. It's a matte gloss. And there are just some blue spots in the white sky beneath the clouds that I'm painting white with the opaque Liquitex. So I leave it like that. I was thinking briefly about filling in the white with a very light blue, because I'm not sure if I like it that way. But I left it. I didn't want to ruin it. And now for the canvas that I sprayed also. Again, here you can see I can do light strokes, streams of pencil. And that is the snow that I'm adding some shadows to. My snowy mountain ridge. Funny, I didn't plan that. And I'm keeping that very light as it's in the far distance. It actually adds quite some depth to the landscape, I think. And giving that cloud a little shadow. I don't like that cloud on the right at all, because it really ruined the Decalcomania natural effect, I think. This is how you overwork something. The left white cloud is a lot better, I think, and it sort of mingles with the mountain back there, which is a nice effect. And here I'm going down into the earth part, only strengthening some valleys and hills and those white lines that I made there. I like that, but I really don't have to do much anymore here. So we're nearing the end here. In my opinion, I think the paper clearly won. There's so much detail and so much interesting parts, and also those flowers I could still make. You need a real smooth surface. But then you can go over the canvas even more times with gesso, and at some point it will be as smooth as the paper itself. But really, what's the point? You could also glue the paper to a canvas. Whatever, I love to do this comparison, and I'm hoping you had as much fun as I had. If you're interested in the Decalcomania technique, you can watch my playlist. I've done some more on this. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Bye.